Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this Rank the Movies video. Alright, well, we are done talking about movies I hoped would be pretty good, but were god-awful, or maybe not. Dungeons & Dragons was. I'm not going to re-review the movies. You can go back and watch the reviews for. This month I'm starting off with a movie that links very well as I start to talk about the first 6 video game movies ever made. Now I'm going to be doing these in a descending order because I decided to end with a movie I already know I really like. Actually, the last 2 weeks, I believe, are still to this day 2 of my favorite video game movies ever. So so I decided to work backwards from the number 6 spot. Now, why? I have 5 weeks. Why am I doing 6 movies? Because both Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation are the 4th and 5th video game movie ever released. So I decided to do those in 1 week and let the 6th one kind of take over this first week. I have nothing to display because I actually had to rent this movie off of Amazon Prime. I could not find a DVD or VHS copy of it anywhere I looked. So finally, I just broke down and rented it off of Amazon Prime, and it is Wing Commander, based on the video game series of the same name. Now, I've never played the Wing Commander games. I'm aware that by the time you get to, the second, I think it's the second, third, and fourth one, they are full-motion video games. I've seen clips of the full-motion video, how they look. I know Mark Hamill is the main character of the Wing Commander games, as is Malcolm McDowell. So they got some really good named actors. And for their theatrical film version, they're Freddie Prinze Jr. and David Warner. Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell to Freddie Prinze Jr. and David Warner. We've now stepped down on the name recognition scale. This is early Freddie Prinze Jr. when he could do no wrong and he was a box office draw. So right around the time of I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scooby-Doo, that level. She's the Man. He did all those rom-coms that I've probably never seen. So maybe I'll do a Freddie Prinze Jr. rom-com month at some point. No, don't say that, Martin, because then there's an expectation you're actually going to do it, and you don't want to do it because you don't want to watch a bunch of Freddie Prinze Jr. rom-coms. You would need a female co-host for that month just because that would be a thing. So no, Martin, no Freddie Prinze Jr. month. Anyways, this movie also stars Matthew Lillard and a bunch of other people who I'm not even going to try to say his name. He's in Beer Fest and Das Boot. I don't want to try to say his name because I'm going to butcher it, because it's a very, very German name. But those are the actors I recognized. Mark Hamill does have a voice cameo in this movie, though he is uncredited. He is the voice of a computer. So, let's take the guy who lent his voice to an animated series and acted in 3 video games and make him a voice. So we can have Freddie Prinze Jr. play our title character. Alright, getting into what this movie is. This movie directed by the creator of the video game franchise. So, basically, if you're a fan of this video game series and you hate this movie because of what it does that isn't part of the video game series, it's a weird hatred because it's not like some Hollywood person was handed this movie and went, here, go make it, or handed this property. It's the person who made the 5 video games prior to the release of this movie. And he added in plot points that he had never done in the video games. He changed the name of one of the ships by not making it possessive. It's called the Tiger's Claw in the video games, and the Tiger Claw in the movie. This is what you get for reading IMDb on the movie Wing Commander. You also find out they cut out an entire subplot of this movie because they just didn't like it. And I'm catching myself saying a lot in this video. So I'm not gonna stop it. because it's just not going to happen. I don't have a script in front of me. I'm not going off of cue cards. I don't even have notes. I don't even take notes when I do these things. I'm going purely off the fact that I just turned the movie off 5 minutes ago. And I'm just talking, well, a little more than 5 minutes ago, because I read the IMDb between turning it off and walking in here, just so if there was any piece of interesting information, I could be like, hey, here it is. I can say it. I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm really catching myself. I know I say a lot in like every video, but I'm catching myself so much that it's derailing me from talking about Wing Commander. Possibly because Wing Commander is a very bland movie. Like, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just bland. It's a very bland movie, so I'd rather go off on tangents than actually talk about Wing Commander. So here we go. There's a war going on between humans and an alien race of cat people. The alien race of cat people have a name. They say it a lot. I don't remember what it is. And I again, just finished watching the movie. I don't remember what the race of cat people are called. But they look bad. I've seen like the full motion video from the games where they show the villains, the aliens who they're fighting, and they don't look terrible in those full motion video scenes. But in this movie, they look real bad. That's actually why a full subplot got cut out, because it would have required the puppets to show up in more of the movie. So they just went, no, we're excising it. We want to keep these puppets to a minimum. Kind of keep them in shadow so nobody has to look at how bad they are. Which is probably a great idea. Yes, thumbs up, gentlemen, thumbs up. But yeah, so they're at war. The alien race attacks a Earth space station and steals a Navcom computer. It basically allows you to jump through wormholes and other space anomalies to get from point A to point B faster. Apparently communications are really bad in the future, in this future, because nobody can just talk to anyone else. You can't just communicate. Like, vast distances. Cell phones are not a thing, because they can't send a drone, which is still a space thing. Like, it still has to travel through space. Like, they can't send a drone to go notify the nearest ship to, like, hey, buy us time. Because the aliens are not heading for Earth. They're going to be there in 22 hours, but the Earth fleet can't get there to protect Earth for 24 hours. It's something like that. There's a 2-hour difference. And like, hey, go find out information, go find out where they're coming in, and buy us 2 hours. Is basically, they need to tell this ship to go do that, the Tiger Claw. So they end up sending a transport that's taking 2 new pilots of the Tiger Claw, including Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard. I think one of them is named Blaine, and the other one is codenamed Maniac at some point in this movie. Yeah. So anyways, Blaine and codenamed Maniac, they're on a ship with not an actual officer, he's just a pilot who's taking them to where they need to go. They get close to a gravity well, and Blair magic powers the jump, coordinates the jump, and jumps through it because he's a pilgrim, which is a thing that apparently they're a group of humans who first went into space and were able to navigate the stars and the wormholes and all that stuff just with their mind, like through their minds. They didn't need a computer to tell them how to do it and what the vectors and everything were. They could just and do it. He is descended from them, so he has this power, which of course is going to come back later in the movie. It's a huge part of this movie. It's the racism of this movie. This movie has a racism subplot that is not resolved. It's resolved only because they stopped pursuing it. Because I'm pretty sure the thing that they cut out of this movie, the whole subplot they cut out of this movie, was supposed to be the resolve. And so it's gone. So at one moment there's a character who's just real racist towards the Pilgrim, and then all of a sudden it's just real okay with him saving the day. There's no, like, and he learns another character is also a pilgrim, and he has no, like, racism there. So they totally, like, cut out the part where this guy goes, you know what, I don't dislike you guys anymore. Which I guess makes sense, because it was supposed to be a knife fight between the pilgrim bigot and the pilgrim, that ended with the pilgrim killing an actual spy on the ship to prove loyalty. Is how it was supposed to go, but then they cut out the entire subplot with the spy, so you can't keep the knife fight because it has no ending. So, yeah, racism just magically goes away. Everyone accepts the pilgrims, and yay! No longer racism. So, they get through it, they get to the ship, the Tiger Claw, and they give the message, hey, buy us this time. And then it just becomes this real convoluted plot of them, like, scanning and kind of forming relationships. One of them, like, goes from 0 to 6. Like, this movie takes the span of less than a day. And there's a guy, codename Maniac, meets a girl. They barely flirt, and then they're flying, doing patrol, and apparently they flirt more, but it really doesn't look like flirting. And then they do stupid shit that pilots shouldn't do at wartime, and then they're in bed. Like, it just... But there is things missing. There is courtship missing here. Like, I don't care if you're even, like, saying, well, it's the army, and therefore you're just gonna jump in bed right away anyways. That's fine. There's a level of flirtation and, sparks and a connection that still needs to be there, because there's dialogue that makes it sound like it's a little more than just, hey, come have sex with me in my bunk. Like, they're supposed to be into each other, and they're in love, because then she dies. Only character that dies in this movie is the Codename Maniac's love interest. He's actually just called Maniac. I just enjoy saying Codename Maniac. Codename Maniac's love interest is the only person who dies, which then there's this weird subplot because he's very responsible for it, because they're told to return to the ship, and they're like, no, we're gonna go kill more alien cats. And then he, like, tries to do a trick to impress her, and it ends up damaging her ship. And, so she dies, and he's real down about it. But, like, the entire thing of making him not second-guess himself and make him want to go be a pilot again is kind of just real quick. It's like their relationship is, like, real quick. Like, we just got these scenes. She's almost shot because it's treason. And then his best friend, Blaine, whatever, Freddie Prinze Jr. goes and talks to their wing commander, who's apparently his love interest. But again, we're missing chemistry, we're missing flirtation, we are missing anything in this movie that would make you go, oh, that's why they're making out at the end. He goes and talks to her, and like, you need to take it easy on him, he feels like shit. And he's like, well, he should. It's like, yeah, he should. He really should feel like shit and be questioning what he's doing. Well, we need all the pilots we can get. That's fine, but mate, I guess it's war. But make him go load a gun. Yeah, it was a weird moment. And then, like, she tells him to suit up to get into a plane to protect a mission, to go steal energy from one of the alien ships, and then they find the Navcom, and so now they know where they're going. And this is where the fight was supposed to happen that got cut, so racism just disappears in this movie. Or bigotry, I guess bigotry. No, they say the Pilgrims are a race, so it would be racism. So racism doesn't get defeated, it just goes away. So then our Pilgrim finds out that the captain of the ship he showed up on, who's also apparently part of naval intelligence, is also a Pilgrim to give him faith. And then he flies off to save the day. And his not girlfriend, his love interest kind of, I guess, stops a missile and lives. Yeah, it's a bland movie. Like, I'm sitting here, and I covered the points I wanted to cover already. Like, it's not a horrible movie. Like, I didn't particularly enjoy the hour and 40 minutes I spent watching Wing Commander, but I don't necessarily, like, I'm not full of anger. Then again, the last time I said that, I went on a huge rant about Popeye, so we'll see how the next couple of moments go. I wasn't filled with, like, big hatred and anger towards this movie. It was just a bland movie. I get why it's a forgotten movie. And why I couldn't find it. Looking around at used shops, even for a VHS copy, like, I get why I couldn't find Wing Commander. Yeah, it's not one. Like, as far as, given the fact that I've seen the other 5 movies I'm reviewing this month, I can say I don't want to say it's the worst, because I've got Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and I know that's a bad movie. Like, I know that's a shitty, shitty movie that I only ever watch because I watch Mortal Kombat. So I know that. But at least I would watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation again. I'm not gonna watch Wing Commander again. There's no reason to. It's not a particularly good movie. It's a bland movie, and I'm sure by this time tomorrow, I'm gonna have forgotten what that movie is all about. So yeah, Wing Commander, it's the 6th video game movie ever made, and it did not help the reputation of video game movies at that moment in time. And, like, I grew up with these movies. Like, I was a kid when these movies were coming out. So I've got that childhood nostalgia for each of the movies I'm going to be talking about this month. So I've got that going on. But most of these movies I wanted to see right away because I was familiar with the property. And although I've always been familiar with Wing Commander, I never played Wing Commander. I was not a PlayStation kid. I wasn't a Sega CD kid, or I swear there's one other one that was a disc-based system that did the Wing Commander games. I just can't think of the system right now. I'm not a kid that grew up on those systems. So when you start talking about Wing Commander, I just really, like, I played Mortal Kombat, I played Street Fighter, I played Double Dragon, I played Super Mario Brothers, which are the other movies I'm going to be covering this month, because they're the other the original, video game movies. I'd never seen Wing Commander, I was curious about it, so I'm like, well, I can slip it in this month, give me a reason to watch it, and get a review out of it. So overall, you can pass on Wing Commander. It's not a video game movie worth checking out. It's just kind of a weird footnote in video game movie history because it was, again, it's one of the first 5 video games turned into a movie, which I guess is what I could have said this month, so I'm doing the first 5 video game movies, video games turned into movies, because that would have covered it. Oh well, I've already shot this video. But yeah, so it's the 5th. It's the 5th video game chosen to be turned into a movie. It's just very bland. Where, as we go through, I'm going to be talking very positive about a lot of those other movies I'm going to be talking about. Wing Commander, it's bland. It was never an interesting idea, and I feel like in the realm of video games, there were so many better ideas. And properties. I get why Wing Commander, because it was already a full-motion video game with its cutscenes, so translating that into a movie is very simple. But it doesn't. The movie does look like a cutscene. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I can't decide if the fact that the movie is shot like a higher-budget video game cutscene is good or bad. Like, I think it depends on the movie. I think Resident Evil Afterlife has a very similar feel at points, that it feels like cutscenes, that you're watching cutscenes to a video game and then you get the action sequences. That's my personal opinion, other people, whatever. I'm not doing that movie. I have a review of the Resident Evil movies. It's back there. Go check it out if you haven't. But I'm not sure it works here because the movie is so bland. I think I just want it to get where it's going, and I want it to do it faster. Which is weird because this movie goes at a real good clip, but it's one of those detriment ones. Like, I would rather it have the same runtime and just explain things better. Because it even, like, the whole setting is explained through opening narration that's mixed in to the soundtrack of the opening credits. So it's real hard to follow. Just because all of a sudden, like, you get JFK, part of JFK's "we're gonna put a man on the moon" speech, and then it moves into, like, other people doing speeches on the things that have happened to get us to where we are, but the music, it just goes down, and then the voice is talking, and then the music comes back up, and the music comes back down. It's not effectively done. I've seen it in other movies effectively done. It's not effectively done here. Again, it's a pretty bland movie. I'm surprised I've gone on as long as I have about Wing Commander. Next week, I'm talking about Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. One of those movies is pretty good. The other one is bad. Real bad. Very bad. Yeah, there's bad. So I got those coming up. Also, this month we got Double Dragon. We got Street Fighter. We got the Super Mario Brothers movie. All being talked about this month. So don't forget to like this video, comment if you got something to say about Wing Commander, the movie. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more content. I am Martin Prevost. This is Rank the Movies. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.